Oh, hey, it's me. I know you've probably forgotten what I look like by now because I've been away for so long, but I am here. I am back and I'm so excited because we are coming back with a bang, baby. And pun unintended, but also not mad about it because I am going to be talking about how to get wet today. Quite frankly, one of my favorite topics. Now, if you're wondering who the hell I am and why you should even bother listening to me, fair. My name's Nadia and I have been a sex educator and sex columnist for the last decade now, which really makes me feel very old. And I'm also a later in life lesbian, so I not only have experience as a woman talking about female sexual pleasure and as someone who has studied it, but also as someone who personally eats pussy. The saying wetter is better exists for a reason, because when you're more lubricated, intimacy is more comfortable and pleasurable. But here's the thing, women and people with vulvas, we are not human waterfalls. Sometimes we can be super in the mood and yet nothing's happening down there. Like it's dry as an Arnott's family biscuit. And that's because factors like menopause, aging, stress, illness, and certain types of medication can impact how lubricated we are able to get. In the same way that it's completely unrealistic to expect men to always be able to get rock hard on command, we can't expect women to always have a slip and slide going on down there. But it is the aim. So here are 4 things that you can start doing today that are gonna make a very big difference to how wet you or your partner is able to get. You are really gonna wanna stick around for the 4th one because it is spicy. Oh, so spicy. It is, I'm getting hot just thinking about it. So back in the 1960s, sex researchers Masters and Johnson conducted a groundbreaking study. This study was so cutting edge, not just for its time, but even for now, because I don't think anything like it has ever been done since. They got real people into a lab and studied them while they got it on in real time. They hooked them up to all different monitors to measure things like their genital blood flow, their lubrication levels, and their heart rate, and then they surveyed them afterwards about their experience. And through these experiments, they discovered something pretty surprising. The longer a woman's partner held off touching the 2 most sexual areas of her body, being her breasts and vulva, the more turned on and wet she got. Ultimately, what they found was that anticipation is one of the greatest unlocks to female sexual arousal. And that's because for people with vulvas, getting turned on doesn't start down here. It starts up here, in our minds. It's something that author and researcher Naomi Wolf refers to as the brain-vagina loop. And I love this term because it perfectly illustrates just how powerful the connection is between our mind and our pussy. And creating anticipation is a really great way to kind of switch on this loop, because when we hold off touching the most sexual parts of a partner's body, what we essentially do is take the pressure away. And because of the culture we live in, most women feel a lot of pressure to perform. And that's regardless of whether or not we're in a straight or queer relationship, because we've very much been conditioned to people please, to put our comfort and our pleasure last as the lowest priority and to put other people's first. And so often when it comes to intimacy, we will just go into performance mode. We will do the things that we think are going to make our partner happy. We don't want to take too long. We don't want them to get bored. We don't want them to be uncomfortable. And so we spend the entire time worrying about our partner's experience and not our own experience, which means that brain vagina loop, it's not functioning the way it should. And because our vagina is a muscle, if it is not relaxed, if it is tense, it is not going to be a fun time to be putting anything near or in it. If our brain cannot come to the party, then our vagina will not be joining either. The best way to practice sensate focus is slowing things down and incorporating acts of non-sexual touch. Things like holding your partner's face, tucking her hair behind her ear, deeply, passionately kissing her, even just dry humping your partner on the bed, like in clothes, straddle over them and do some good old-fashioned grinding. When you skip over all these things and go straight to taking off a partner's clothes and underwear, do not be surprised if your partner is not super wet, because you haven't given her time to relax, to not feel the pressure to perform, and actually to have something to anticipate, because by engaging her brain, you're also engaging her sense of imagination. And then when you do take her clothes off, resist the urge to go straight to removing her underwear. Leave that on for just a little bit longer and tease around the areas of her body that are still covered by underwear. So you can touch over and around the outline of her underwear, and then if you can possibly stand it, after you finally take her underwear off, delay touching those areas for just a little bit longer. So instead of going straight to just putting your mouth over her breast, try circling your tongue around her areolas. That is the dark area of skin around her nipple, and it actually has the most nerve endings in the breast. And then do the same thing with her vulva. Trace around it with your tongue. Breathe hot air onto it, but don't make contact with it for just at least a few more minutes. There is so much research to show that visual stimulation can trigger a sexual response in our body. In other words, it can help us to get turned on. And one of the best ways to use that is to watch something X-rated. But mainstream adult content does not center or barely even highlight female sexual pleasure. It is mainly focused on men's pleasure. There is a lot of penetration, very vigorous penetration, and seemingly spontaneous orgasms that occur with very little to no foreplay at all.
Yes! 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 Yes!
Overall, it's just very fake. So over the years, I've had women ask me, is there any adult content that I can find online that centers female sexual pleasure? And my answer to them is always yes. It is Cheeks, who also happen to be the sponsor of today's video. And frankly, I couldn't be happier to have them on board, because I have personally recommended them and used them without them even being a sponsor for years. It's the ultimate destination for sexual empowerment, offering a 3-in-1 platform. Ethically produced, diverse and authentic erotic films, immersive erotic audios, and the Pleasure Academy, which includes expert-led educational content covering techniques, mental health, and all aspects of pleasure. The content also looks and feels totally different. It's aesthetic, it is beautifully shot, cinematic quality. It doesn't feel cheap and tacky and creepy. And it features a broad range of women. There is amazing queer representation, which we love to see, because I think I speak for most lesbians when I say mainstream lesbian is terrible. It in no way accurately depicts what goes on in real women loving women intimacy, and it's very much centered not around women's pleasure, but the male gaze. Since subscribing to Cheeks, I have finally been able to enjoy hot women loving intimacy on screen. Women loving intimacy that I can actually relate to, that is realistic, that is spicy, that is sexy as all hell, and that features real orgasms. When it comes to adult content, if you want the peace of mind that you are consuming ethically, and also that you're getting really high quality, really enjoyable, realistic content, then you need to pay. I really wholeheartedly believe this, also because I believe that performers themselves need to be paid for their labor. So if you want to access Cheeks, you will have to pay a small subscription fee. But let me tell you from personal experience, it is worth it, because I want you to experience this for yourself. I've pulled a few strings and asked my friends at Cheeks to give me a little treat that I can share with you all. You can use my code Nadia7 to access it completely free for the next 7 days. All you need to do is hit the link under this video to get started. If you've reached this point in the video, then you are well aware by now that the big unlock when it comes to female sexual pleasure, when it comes to getting turned on and getting those rivers flowing down there so you can have wetter, better intimacy, is engaging the brain, and more specifically, making a woman feel relaxed. Because when she mentally feels relaxed, she doesn't feel rushed or pressured, and she's able to engage her imagination, which you can do by watching hot adult content and by using anticipation in sensate focus. Her vulva is able to join the party. Which is why one of the simplest and most underrated things that you can do when it comes to getting more lubricated is to create a relaxing environment. You're not going to be relaxed if your bedroom is cluttered and messy. So make it a beautiful, sensual haven. Make it somewhere that you enjoy being. And while you're at it, turning your bedroom into a sensual boudoir, make sure you turn off the lights and light some candles, because research has shown that soft lighting can decrease our cortisol levels and put us in a more relaxed state of mind. Also, this seems so obvious, but so few of us do it. Make sure you are physically comfortable. If you're having partnered intimacy, don't put yourself in positions that don't feel good or that cause you to strain muscles in your body just to please your partner. Find positions that are comfortable for both of you. All right, I did promise this one was going to be a game changer, and I was not kidding around. Every time I have shared this move with a coaching client, they have returned to me to say that it rocked their world, that they used it on a partner or that they had a partner use it on them, and they experienced whole new levels of pleasure. And not only that, but increased lubrication, because this move is specifically great for that. So you've made your room super sexy and comfortable. You've gotten your mind into gear by watching some spicy content and practicing lots of sensate focus, and the clothes and the underwear has come off. Now is the time you can use the swirl to turn her absolutely feral. What you're gonna do is take these 2 fingers and then you're going to sit them at the entrance to her vagina. But here's the really important part. You are only going to insert this much, literally just your fingertips. And then you're going to swirl them around. You are just swirling around the opening, and you should be pressing firmly enough that you're slightly stretching it. And the reason you want to do that is because, for starters, you are unlocking serious amounts of anticipation, because you're giving her a taste, but you're not giving her all of it. And eventually she's going to be screaming for you to just put them in there. But also because the highest concentration of nerve endings we have in our vagina is around the opening. And when you stimulate those nerve endings, you trigger arousal, which in turn can trigger lubrication. I love this move because it's kind of like a form of erotic torture. You are teasing her. You are not fully giving her the thing that she's going to want more and more as time goes on. If you do this for long enough, it's going to get so wet that you're probably going to slip off the bed. Don't forget to hit the link beneath this video and use my code Nadia7 for 7 days free on Cheeks. This will be the best decision you ever made, and it's totally free. So go and do it, and do it now. You can thank me later. And then let me know how you went with these tips in the comment section. I cannot wait to hear the results. And if you're new here, go and hit that subscribe button, because there's lots more content just like this on this channel. And I promise, to those of you who aren't new here, I am gonna start posting regularly again. Your girl has had lots going on that has taken her away from YouTube, but I am making a comeback. So I'll see you in the next video. Mwah.